Alright guys, welcome to Game 3 of Hwaseung versus Wemade Fox. This time we're going to have a game between Lucifer and Killer. I don't do that nearly as well as, I think it's Husky? I'm not sure. There's another commentator that just does the Killer voice so well. But Lucifer is going to be representing Wemade Fox. Killer is going to be, of course, on Hwaseung by process of elimination. We have Killer is a Zerg player, Lucifer is a Protoss. We don't have a mirror match this time, guys. We're going to have, a match where I don't get confused about which player is which. And we do have Killer starting in the lower right, or sorry, lower left. I know my directions, and Lucifer is up on the upper right. I'm rooting for Lucifer in this game. I really don't know how they stack up. Neither of them are players I know all that well. But I know Killer is actually Baxter, and he's the one who eliminated Boxer from the GOM Classic Season 2, I think. So, anyone that eliminates Boxer from a tournament I don't want to watch Boxer in has my eternal hatred. Arrgh! Bad Killer. And it does look like, alright, Killer, or Lucifer is going to make, I won't call that a proxy probe, that's pretty normal. You can move your, or you can sort of wall in and keep the Zerg back, and of course, Zergling rushes are very common against Protoss. Protoss have a hard time really defending against them. That's why the, of course, Forge, into Photon Cannon was adopted, because Photon Cannons are better against Zerglings than Zealots are, until Zealots got into a pretty good number, and at the beginning of the game, you can't have a very good number of Zealots. It just doesn't work. But yeah, this is on match point, by the way. I don't think I've said it yet. So match point is, of course, a two-player map, which two-player maps are scary for Zerg versus Protoss, or at least for the Protoss, because, like I said, if a Zerg actually gets into your base, it is over. Terran can wall in pretty easily. Zerg, of course, can play around just like Zerg can, but Protoss is just so weak against Zerg in the beginning, unless they get the cannon down. So, it shouldn't be a problem. These pros have played it long enough that they're not going to... Yep, there's the Forge. A little bit of a weird position for the Forge, actually. There's a huge old hole, but, unless, Killer goes for extremely fast, hard Zergling pressure, and goes over there with like 10 of them, or at least 6, he's not going to get anything in there. And he would need the 10 in order to actually do something worthwhile. It does look like Killer's going to go for a fast expand. He's got a probe just hanging out down there, holding on to, minerals in his mandible, I guess. All units look cute when they have supplies, but there's just something about that, the probe that sits there, floating there, and then it's just like, "Arr, I got mineral, arr." R is the sound of, biting into a mineral, by the way. For those of you that don't speak, I guess that would be dog. But, alright, we've got actually fast expansions from both players. They're both apparently kind of settling in for an economic game, I'm pretty sure. They haven't flipped to it in a while, but I'm pretty sure I saw an expansion for Killer. So, maybe, okay, maybe he made it and then he had to cancel it. I could have sworn I saw it go down a second ago. But it's going to go down now. Those Zerglings are not going to let that probe stay around. Oh, okay, that's what I saw. Wow. Alright, so it actually looks like, that's actually really smart from Killer. Killer is going to, put an expansion in the upper left, and then fast expand right immediately, and put another expansion at his natural. So as far as Lucifer knows, then, Killer is just now expanding, and so Lucifer thinks he's a little bit ahead. But pretty soon, he's going to have a lot of things showing up that are going to let him know that he is not ahead. And where are those probes going? Probes are going across the map for some reason. They may be going up to the expansion, although I'd be very careful moving probes whenever there are scouts in the area. Yep, it is going up to the expansion. But yeah, do not let that probe see it. And it looks like, yeah, Lucifer may realize something's up. The timing is just too weird for Lucifer. He's like, man, I'm doing well, but I don't feel like I'm doing that. I don't know, though. Maybe he's buying it. Maybe he was checking that, second closest expansion, and when nothing was there, he's like, alright, I guess I'm just winning. I think in his mind he knows there's something going on. He may just be trying to micro and tie up the... I don't know. It's hard to say. It looks like at this point he's just trying to micro and, force more action from the Zerglings. But the fact that he's just kind of roaming around that area, it makes me feel like he may know something's up. But it's really hard to say whether he does or not. And, alright, there is the Stargate, going for, I won't say early Corsairs, but Corsairs in order to harass the air and take out, all the overlords that are undefended. The Corsairs are going to be bad news for that expansion, because Corsairs will find the expansion pretty quickly. As soon as the Corsair will go to the main first, of course, because it's going to want to do whatever damage it can. But once it goes there and it gets driven out of the main because their defense is up, it's just going to start roaming the map, and it'll check all the expansions in short order. So, all right, here comes another pro. Sorry guys, it's about 12:44 in the morning here. I wanted to go ahead and record again because I'm off tomorrow, so I don't have to get up. And I have plans for tomorrow, but I wanted to get this. I doubt I'll actually get it uploaded tonight, because once I finish recording all this, I've got to, of course, render everything, and whoa. Interesting. I didn't see that happen. There was a photon cannon that went up, and then was immediately, or not really immediately, but very quickly taken out by Zerglings. And wow, Killer is really committing to this. Killer is... Oh, I thought that was a GG. Pause for a second. The Killer is really pushing in here, and he takes out the other cannon. Okay, there's a third cannon trying to come up, but it's not going to get to. So right now, wow, because there was so much emphasis put on... There's no troops. And... I mean, there's not that many Zerglings that are in the base now, but they have breached the base. They can go in there and they can really start hitting at these probes. It looks like there are enough probes that the Zerglings do not get free reign, but they're trying to take out that pylon. If they manage to get the pylon, then it's going to deny power to the gateway, and that will be just it. I mean, that will be all she wrote. And there was that Zergling that was like, "Let me through!" And the probes were like, "No, we will not let you through. You are the enemy. You are Killer." And right now they are being, validly killing. It looks like these cannons will probably get to come up. There's enough probes. Actually, I don't know. I think they'll get to... Yeah, those probes will be able to hold back the Zerglings. But he is losing a ton of mining time right now. And he's still pushing with those Zerglings, but he probably needs to think of something else pretty soon, because I don't know if he'll be able to keep up this pressure. And yep, there is the Corsair, and the Corsair does see the expansion, like I predicted. So now Lucifer realizes just what's going on. He's going up against a 3-base Zerg, and he's having to pull probes off mining. So not only is he's maybe 1.5 bases now against a 3-base Zerg, which is basically, I mean, that means the Zerg is double. So that isn't good. And yeah, he's trying. Well, that's some pretty good Hydralisk micro right there. And the Hydras are going to be able to take out both the Forge and possibly the Gateway. I don't know. There are more cannons coming up, but if he's good, if he moves his troops pretty well, he can keep. He'll definitely get the Forge. He may be able to get the Gateway, depending on what he can do with his Hydras. And wow, Killer is expanding again. This is exactly how Killer beat Boxer. Killer just kind of cancered over the map. If any of you have cancer, I apologize. I don't mean to rub salt in your wounds. I'm not making fun. I think that's a very good term for the way Zerg just spreads and consumes the map. That is why defilers get consumed, because it's just natural for Zergs. It's what they do. But I will say that Corsair, despite there being Hydras out, that Corsair is doing a really good job at harassing Overlords. Okay, he does not quite get that Overlord. Hydras did show up just in time, but he'll be able to swing back and get it later. Overlords do not heal very fast. And they do heal, of course, faster on the creep, so he should keep it on the creep in order to enhance its survivability. And there's that Corsair, but the Corsair is going to run into a Hydralisk sandwich. Hydralisks are like, "Would you like some, spines with your meal?" Alright. And there goes the Corsair. Running away. It's like, man, there's way too many Hydras. And there goes the Protoss Robotics Support Bay, which is very good because there's a lot of Hydras coming out. I was just about to say, with all those Hydras, Killer needs to watch out for Reavers, because Reavers eat Hydras for lunch. I've seen a lot of players try and go hard Hydras, where they just make nothing but, and inevitably when they try and do it against Protoss make, a couple of Reavers and just, the ground runs red with Hydralisk blood. Reavers can rush in and take out Hydras, but they suffer so many losses trying to get it done. And especially when there's a shuttle, because the shuttle will just move the Reaver around, and it is bad news for Hydras. It's the worst news for Hydras ever since Hercules. And it does look like the Lurker upgrade is complete. Lurker is going to do a lot of damage if he can get into the base. Obviously, there are enough photon cannons in the front that, you know, the Lurker will not be all that effective, but, you know, back once it gets away from the photon cannons, they'll be very, very effective. I haven't seen the observatory, so that means that, of course, he won't be able to see Lurkers unless they're within range of the photon cannon, which is bad, bad juju. But here comes actually a counter push from Lucifer. Lucifer's Zealots are just streaming right into the base, and where's all the Hydras? Where'd they go? Was he going to his tech switch from low? I mean, he just had a ton down here. But right now, I see some Zerglings trying to oppose this. There comes some Hydras, but man, I really think those Zealots could have done a lot more damage if they, you know, hadn't, you know... Oh, I see. Those two Zealots are trying to distract the army, while I think there were a few other Zealots at the line. There's a whole bunch of drones hunched up trying to take out Zealots, and kind of like we talked about last game, when your drone is fighting tanks, you're in bad news. Drone fighting Zealots is not such bad news, but a Zealot is not the same as a Zergling. They both may start with Z, but Zealots have a lot more hit points, and you know, they have shields. They take a lot longer to go down, and they kill drones a lot quicker.